So Delphine, I want to kick off today by exploring how legacy retailer like Dick's Sporting Goods is writing the playbook. So I read a fascinating article recently about Dick's Sporting Goods. As you know, I founded my fund, VC Fund 125 Ventures, where we back great companies focus on the convergence of sports media entertainment with tech as well as experiences. Well, that really led me to the story and made it sound really interesting. So I'm going to give you a quick case study on Dick's. So it has 720 stores. It generates $13 billion per year. And so they have this loyalty program, which turned customers into a whole ecosystem. It's called Scorecard. And so it plays a central role in their growth. How it works, so basically customers get $10 coupon for every $300 that they spend. They have over 140 million customers in their database. So they created this whole loyalty infrastructure, gives them an edge in personalization and insights. The other thing is youth sports. I know you're a sports mom. You have two boys who play sports. Well, youth sports is massive. So Aspen Institute did a study recently. Youth sports is a $40 billion market. And on average, parents per kid spend about $1,500 per year on youth sports. And now obviously that calls into questions and issues of parents who, can't afford that. But that's the numbers. And they spend money on taking them to tournaments. They have to stay at a hotel, travel, and all that. It's really a huge and burgeoning ecosystem. The other thing that Dick's Sporting Goods has done, which is really interesting, they have actually acquired a company called GameChanger. And it's basically a platform that allows parents to stream their kids as well as keep scores, and universities can use that. They can send it to friends to watch streaming. That company has about 10 million users and it generates about $100 million to Dick's. The other thing that they've done is they've actually invested in a company called Unrivaled, not be confused with the women's 3-on-3 pro team, but this is basically a conglomerate of youth sports. They own a number of baseball tournaments, flag football tournaments, and show this whole ecosystem. So Dick's is doing a vertical integration. And so they control the whole value chain from when you walk into the store and you buy, as well as take your kid to these different tournaments. And so this is really not just one area of focus or product line, but multiple product lines, what I like to call multiple points of adhesion. I think it's brilliant and an amazing case study. So with that, what are you excited about, Delphine?
Sorry, before I jump into what I've been thinking about, I just want to comment on Dick's because it is fascinating. It's sort of small world. My husband actually grew up in Binghamton. His father worked for IBM, which was a couple towns over. And Dick's was the store that you went to get, it was like fishing gear and outdoor gear. So it's not that long ago that it started out with Mr. Stack was the gentleman behind the counter who was selling you your gear. And they're still family owned and what they've been able to do. We could talk about kids sports as an entire episode.
Let's do it. Let's do a kids sports episode.
And actually in 2018, Dick's said after the Parkland shooting, we're not going to sell assault weapons anymore.
I remember
and that was bold. I mean, now you're like, what do you mean? Why are you selling assault weapons to begin with? You're a hunting store. But that was bold. And at the time, I knew their chief people person and asked if I could meet with her. I interviewed her and we talked about that. And the decision to, even if it alienated part of their base, that it was too important to them. And it's just a really sort of fascinating company. I'm going to make a connection to health. Who is buying those clothes? Who are the consumers? How do you attach or address child obesity? Younger and younger and younger. And they have the platform. They have the influence. So there's a lot of opportunity there to really start downstream. I had a conversation with Heather Mitz, who was a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, soccer player, and also played in the World Cup. She's also married to an Eagles player. She's working on access for women's soccer because it's a pay to play. Our oldest son, who's a junior, is going to compete in the head of the Charles. He's a rower. He just made the team. We're going to be going up soon. 1,500 is low end.
That's the average. The other thing I want to mention on that is the whole price and sensitivity around that. If your son is playing soccer and his foot grows for next year, you're not going to say, squish your toes into the cleats. You're going to buy him cleats. Parents are going to spend that. And they still have this idea of like, my kid's going to become pro. In the article, they said about 22% of parents think that their kids are going to be college athletes. And then 14% are going to make it to pro. Unfortunately, that's not the case. As a data point, there's 20,000 NCAA women's soccer players. Only 37 get drafted every year, roughly. So it's incredibly elite athletes, but hey, they're selling the dream. Dick's is selling the dream.
Dick's is selling the dream. And there's this sense that because college has gotten so expensive, this is my ticket in. And every time I say, our son's row, I get, oh, you're going to look for a scholarship. You're going to try to get a scholarship. So it's this whole other higher education. It's fascinating. And to your point, the way Dick's is integrated vertically is what we need to do in other areas. And we have been to the Dick's Superstore in Johnson City, New York, had to check it out. What they've done for the community is also fantastic.